Alofa, hi, and welcome to another episode of Tanarumanga's Team Talk, proudly sponsored by Victual, New Zealand's first health and well-being supplement range that combines ancient Māori and Pacifica wisdom and ingredients. And my guest tonight on our show is an Ōtara Scorpion and Ōtāhuhu Leopard stalwart. He represented the Junior Kiwis rugby league team with yours truly in 1992. I don't think we're as big a midfield pairing back then as we probably would have made later on in life. But it was good times. And then he made his first grade debut in 1993 for the Canberra Raiders, where he obviously leveled up in terms of his midfield partnership in the centres there with the great Mal Meninga, and was able to win a premiership with the Canberra Raiders the same year. And there were some greats in that team too. We'll talk about them because some of my heroes and role models were in that team. In 2002 and 2003, he was named the Canberra Raiders Player of the Year. And then my guest joined the New Zealand Warriors 2005. And was the first New Zealander to reach 300 first grade NRL games. He was selected for the Kiwis in 1994 and played 55 test caps for them. And that's still the most by any player before retiring in 2006. And he captained the Kiwis 18 times. He was appointed an officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit for services to rugby league in 2007. And he started his own gym, WorKZ, with wife Santa, once he finished his time as a rugby league player, but he still keeps his hand in it. As you see, when he first came out, he was running behind the Warriors there as one of the high performance trainers. And we'll talk about that because I always wondered what the role is. It's like you nearly got to put on a jersey, you guys back there. But it's a huge honor to have on the show tonight, Ruben Wiki. Julie, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure to catch up.
Maua malelangi mama utulai atu ile aba male fa alo te lei ma te fatalo fatu paia male mama lo le aso ia lo mai le atua fatasi mai ma faces one mai awale tatu mafutanga le ne aso malo le totia malo le sufua manuia. So also, it's an honor to catch up and have a talanoa with you, bro. It's, long time between drinks, but we do have some history, bro. But it's been a hell of a journey. But we'll get on to that, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, we've got to talk about, remembering those times, and I just saw a photo of our Junior Kiwi team yesterday. Actually, did you see that? Barry Fuel's birthday yesterday. And Tane Manahira from Christchurch Canterbury back then, he put that up, and geez, I was tall back then.
So you're tall as. Oh no, lanky lean guy with the short hair. So
that's it.
And it's some good times, bro. And you kind of cherish those days. And every time the photo pops up, you kind of just reminisce and think about what we did, the history we made, and watching Lethal Weapon and the work to the big bird ones,
Yeah.
But keeps us connected, and everyone's been on a different journey, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's probably the thing. When you look back, it's just the different paths that everyone took, And, it's just one of those things. And where you end up is something to, like we're doing now, is just to catch up upon. And I still remember, we played each other, in the under-19s, when Wainuiomata came up to play you guys.
That's right, the 21s.
The 21s, we came up.
Yeah.
And then when we, I think it was it in Wairau Army Camp? That's where we had our under-19s camp.
Yeah.
And I never forget it, I think we played, at the end, we made the tournament team, and then, do you remember that one of the guys, two guys, a forward and a back, were always selected to go to the Brisbane Broncos?
You and Willie.
Yeah. And then both of us didn't go. We ended up, I came back to rugby the next year, and I think Willie had something else on. But I remember, when it was named, we were in the mess hall, whereas our fullback, he's an honest guy. The Wellington fullback came up to me, and he goes to me straight up, he goes, "You shouldn't have got it, man. Ruben should have got it." He was straight up. I can't remember. He was from St. George. His name was Dave. I was Maris Northern, I think. But he says, "Oh, no, thanks, bro." But I agreed with him. I says, "Yeah, I don't know why I got that."
There was another guy, Jermaine McDonald. I think he played for Canterbury, and he was in the centres. I said, "Oh, that should be my position." I said, "Oh, okay, no worries." That's who it is.
A lot of confidence.
This was down the track too.
Yeah.
And I said, that should be me. Partnering up with Tana. I said, "Well, sorry, mate, but they chose me, not you."
For sure. Don't come at me, man. We don't pick ourselves.
I reckon they come at me with a long white time under tap.
Oh yeah. And so when you went to Canberra, obviously the next year, because back then it was because you'd played really well in the Pacific Cup. You played in the Pacific Cup.
Yeah. I was playing for the Maoris also
at the end of '92.
Yep, 92. Then there was a few scouts that came over. So Tim Sheens and Dean Lance came over and scouted. So Peter Solis put my name forward because he was the coach for the Australian schoolboys earlier in that year. And they came over and come to look for some players, and they ended up picking up Noa Nadruku, Johnny Lomax, Quentin Pongia, and myself, and Jimmy Vaikoswa as well. So they pulled me aside after one of the Kalongas and said, "Oh, interested to getting you over?" I said, "Oh my gosh, it's Canberra Raiders, or it's Tim Sheens, things like that." And I was like, go home and have a bit of a talanoa with Mum, because I've never left Mum's side, and I discussed that with her. She was a bit, weary of the big move to Australia. So we had the meeting with Tim Sheens at his hotel, and Santa came as well. So it was a gamble I wanted to take. I was only a 2-year contract, so I was going to go over there and play some 21s and see how I go. And I asked Santa to come over with me, so we were just started going out. So she came over, my brother came over, and we tried our venture there for 2 years, and kind of flourished after that. Yeah, I was supposed to come home, but things changed also.
Yeah, well, that's what happens, eh? Like, well, as you said, you had the idea of start down in the lower grades and work my way up, but the very next year, pretty much, 1 year there, and then the next year you're in the top side, or and things happen. Like, again, you don't pick yourself; it's just through your actions that
absolutely. Also, and I was because Canberra is in wintertime is silly smart. Freaking hell. It's like, I'm coming over there with like shorts, ankle socks, singlet, and I'm running around with the big boys and trying not to be that dude. Freezing, and all these guys got layers on, long socks, and trying to be tough as. I said, oh my gosh, nearly bloody hypothermia. But lots of challenges also. Didn't know anybody. The guys over there were supposed to be 21s players. They look like men. So how the Australians just, I don't know, look way more mature than us Polynesians. Come over there, not hairy, baby or legs, and these guys are hairy ass, mustaches. I said, hey, what's going on here? But it was a challenge in itself. But playing 21s there. Craig Bellamy was the coach. The great Craig Bellamy. He was the coach for the 21s, and I got to learn the infamous spray. Like.
As you started back then?
Oh, way back then, way back then. you know, and just like, man, you know, when I got my opportunity to play with the run-on side, I was like number 54 on my back. They, you know, they're big numbers back then. And I ran on against the Balmain Tigers, sort of, and man, I was keen as mustard. And funny thing, the centre partner was Michael Maguire, the Rabbitohs coach.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. It's like, hey,
you
know, so yeah, so all the like journeys later on, you talk about the opportunities and what the paths you crossed in. Yeah, he was my centre partner. I was keen. I was tackling everything, and you know, next minute got sent from the field 10 minutes in. That was my introduction to the run-on side. You know, Tim Sheens brought the team early to come watch.
Yeah.
So Mal and Laurie and all of the boys watched me play, and yeah, Mal told Tim, he said, "Oh yeah, goodbye that one. You only lasted 10 minutes, you know." So that was my first introduction to judiciary in '93 or so.
Oh,
yeah.
Geez.
Crazy stories, bro.
Oh, I can imagine. And how was that? You know, like you say, we said, you know, you're playing with some of the greats, Mal Meninga, you know, that's some of the immortals, and Laurie Daley, and you know, and Ricky Stuart now. But my favorite, Bradley Clyde, he was my favorite player.
Unbelievable.
I always saw myself as a loose forward, like, you know, and then
you sort of had that lean about you. I was playing Junior Kiwis. I'll be a lock.
Oh, I thought I was a lock there. When I didn't know you're in the centres. What was this? Oh, your work rate is still high.
You can put on effort.
Yeah.
Must be back there before the wingers start.
Exactly. I said, sorry, mate. I try to be low, but no, that wasn't fit enough. But how was that? How was it?
Honestly, also, it was like when I first met them, I was overwhelmed, but I just, you know, kept my cool and try to find my place in the club. So it was hard. I ended up playing one game in first grade and in '93 on the wing, and it was myself and Kenny Nagus. So it was a kind of debut. And shucks, so we played Newcastle, down in Newcastle. I was on the wing, and Andrew Johns was like bombing galore. So, you know, just close my eyes and just, you know, good luck. I grab the ball. You know, the winger ins back in the back home days, those kind of change. You winger in here and you get fun. So, but you know, we lost that game. But man, it was the pace of the game. I thought the 21s comp was fast. Fully, but the level just went up another notch.
Yeah,
reserve grade and then first grade, because back then in those days, if you played well enough, you could go sit on the bench for reserve grade. If you played well enough, you could go sit on the bench for first grade. And you know, some of you could be playing like 3 games in one day.
Yeah.
But that was the mission, and to do what I could, and to try and get cement a first grade spot. So yeah, so 94, there was a few injuries, and I took my opportunity, and you know, I was taking out all the other centers at training. You know, that was my mentality. It was, you know, train like you players. Oh, yeah, take you out, and they got no one else to pick. And that was the last on the list, so they picked me. So, and I never looked back after that. I didn't want to give it away. I was still raw, you know, in regards to the standards they set in that team. Oh my gosh, you know, the perfect pass. So you just imagine passing the ball from dummy half to Ricky Stuart, and if you don't get it right, oh mate. So you've seen how how passionate he is with the Raiders. So this guy was the same at training. All of them were, and it was, oh man. And I had to kind of bite my pride and don't take it personal. And I think that was the challenge for myself to excel in this game.
Yeah.
And in that team is to take it on board, and you know, it's not a personal dig at you, it's to make you better. So yeah, I had a lot of those battles.
I can imagine, and you know, especially as a young man, I know, you know, you've been through it as well on both sides, being the young and then being the elder statesman. And you know, as you said, you've got to bite your pride, because you know, your first was okay.
Yeah, so
But you kind of, how long does it take, do you think, when you actually figure out that actually he wants me to be better? But, you know, you know.
Yeah. It probably dawned on me that if I don't start speaking up now, I'm just going to be, you know, speed hump just on the road, you know, kind of thing. And Brett Mullins had a shot at me, you know, was just yelling at me all the time at training. And so why is this dude picking on me, you know? And their culture over there is, you know, with drinking and stuff is it's right up there, you know. And see this guy on a Wednesday lunchtime on their day off at a pub, and I'm walking past with Santa, and he goes, "Hey, come and have a drink." I said, "Hell no, I'm not coming in for a drink." So I didn't want the peer pressure to follow the lead, you know, in that term. But yeah, he started just picking on me at training, like just yelling at me. So I kind of just whispered in his ear and just said, you know, if you just keep yelling at me, I'm gonna knock you out, bro. And then it stopped after that.
Yeah.
So and then I found my way in there, you know. I just got to speak up, and you know they're pretty upfront and you know out there, you know, and they want you to bite back, so you know earn your respect, and I did, and I kind of let my actions kind of speak after that. And as I said, you know, when I train, I try and take them all out. Sort of just, I always warn them like pre-season. I said, I'm just going to apologize now if I take you out when they're training and you don't get up. Sorry, but I want my position.
Yeah,
you know?
It's nothing personal.
Yeah, nothing personal. It's nothing. Don't take it to heart.
But that's the thing too. Like it's. You know, and you know now it's probably called bullying now, and nowadays, you know. But you're right. It's if you don't, they're waiting. You know, they want to see if you're willing to fight for yourself, or you're just going to let people. Yeah, like you said, be a speed bump. You know, and they want people to speak up. But as soon as you do, you know, and you show them and you let your actions, but just say, hey, that's enough, man.
And I think you know, being Polynesian Maori and. You respect your elders, you know, and these guys are all older than me, and but the culture is totally different to where I grew up. You know, you have to respect the elders and don't talk back. But for me to survive, I had to, you know, so I had to, you know, stand my authority down, and I'm here for a long time, not a short time, you know, and you know, you would have had your journey through the rugby career also, in the senior players, and where you sit in the chain and in the bus, you know, those types of things. Yeah, sort of. 100%. But a massive learning for you know learning. Yeah, for me, bro, it was huge for me to mature and to become a player that they pick every day, like every week, you know. So I had to, you know, learn the trade.
Yeah, and earn that too. But you're right, and you know, I like to those days. Again, back, you know, you had to earn the right to sit on the bench.
Yes,
you earn the right to sit on the bench of the reserves, and then you know you go well. You could get, then you earn the right to sit on the bench for all in the same day. You know, and that's what you look forward to. You know, you're working your way up, and again, you know, because of the way, you know, the game's gone and things, you know, players can't do that anymore. You know, they don't want players playing that many games in a day, which is understandable. But it was just a different time, you know, and that's how you had to work your way up. You just got to keep. And
it's grinding now, so keep grinding, bro.
And then, but also like there's a time and place for our cultures too, in terms of
absolutely,
we respect our elders. But in the workplace, you know, I'll come here just like you, like anyone else. My culture will give me the confidence, you know, because I represent a lot of people. But man, I'm here to work. So and you're gonna disrespect me here. I don't care how.
You gotta stand up for yourself. So those days are only semi-professional, right? So I was working like at a tile shop from 9 to 5. Then we trade.
Yeah.
So the crop now these days, you know, double the figures, you know, I was like, you know, only on like $5,000. Like I thought that was heaps of money compared to what we're getting back at Ōtāhuhu.
Yeah.
You know, like just for witness, $50. I was like, oh, done. But yeah, with $5,000. So we had to work, you know, we had to pay rent. So they helped us with paying rent and stuff, but we had to feed. So there's 2 other males to feed, Santa and my brother. So yeah, we had to work. Santa had to work and do the grind, bro. And you know, it didn't come forefront until the Super League come in, you know.
Yeah.
And Sharks, man, money coming out their ears, bro. It's crazy. It's all of it. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it's like, well, you'd know too, now you're in that business with it. It's when you've got something to trade it off against a
yeah, so it's crazy, bro.
You start to know your worth,
and it's like, you know, we'll talk about that picking order and like Super League come in, the big dogs and get the big money.
Yeah.
And then whatever's left is for the, you know.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's better than what I had before, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
but,
exactly.
It helps you buy a house and buy a car, invest in other properties, you know, and it starts from there. So it was a whole learning curve for me, man. Like, you know, buying a house, buying a car, investing in other properties so the money doesn't go to waste, you know. So, and Santa was really good with that. So, you know,
her mom's always good at that, eh?
So she's our boss lady.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so but they know the grind. This is my daughter.
Oh.
Hello. This Mackenzie. This Tana.
Hello, Mackenzie.
Hi.
I just want to talk to you about, you know, there was that just going back a bit around, you know, you were meant to go back to the Warriors, you know, and how that played out, because again, you know, obviously that's good for you. And when we just talked about you having 2 parties, you know, bid for you, but knowing you'd been in Canberra now for 2 years and freezing, but obviously that just, you know, but you had a star-studded team, and then, you know, the Warriors were just kind of starting up. You know, the reasoning behind you staying with the Raiders, and you know, what did you go through?
Yeah, no, there was, you know, we just won the GF, you know, with the Raiders against the Bulldogs there. So on a bit of a high, you know, Ian Robson, John Money scouting for players. So they come over to see. Well, they tried to sign me up, and they offered a contract.
Yeah,
and it was more than my first contract with the Raiders, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I didn't have agents back then, you know, play agents, football, you know, that looked after all that financial side of things. And, you know, I said, well, this could be an opportunity to go home and see mum, go home, you know, settle down and try my luck with the Warriors. And just young and naive, also no experience in the contract side of things, and you know, the fine print and whatnot. I was like, man. So I met these guys at the airport, signed this paper. I said, oh yeah, the keen is, yeah, I'll sign this. I signed this deal for like 2 years, and you know, they said it was a first grade contract, but it wasn't. It was just like, you know, reserve grade or whatever. And the witness. This is the one that probably not many people know. The witness was a cleaning lady. She witnessed the contract. So this lady was coming past with the pick up all the cups and plates, and excuse me, can you sign this? So the lady just signed it. So that was my witness.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if that's legit or not, but you know, so it's not a family member, but yeah, it was weird. But yeah, signed that, and then when I left the airport, and I just felt I did something wrong there, you know, it didn't feel right. So I rang Tim Sheens and told him what I did. And then he rang the CEO, you know, which was Kevin Neal back then. And we straight into the office, and I told what I did. And they said, well, we don't want to let you go. So they put up another contract, and I signed that contract, the Raiders contract, and you know, they were going to back me no matter what. They didn't want me to go, and I was like, So I rang, E. Robson. I said, "Oh, sorry, mate, I had a change of heart. I'm going to stay with the Raiders." And then, just went to court battle for like a few months, and the whole of Canberra right behind me. And his mum came over, Frank Endicott. He was like my best witness, because he was with the Warriors reserve grade. So he said, "Oh, what's this guy's character?" And he spoke highly of like our boys back in the days, and he ended up being my best witness, old Frankie. He just calls a spade, and you can't force someone to go play where you don't want to, you're not happy. But I know it's the legal side of thing. Sorry, John Quayle came down, Ken Arthurson, sorry, the big dogs,
big wigs
from ARL.
Yeah,
and Santa gave them a piece of their mind. I said, "Well, he doesn't want to go. He changed his mind. So just let him go, rip on him." And so I ended up being the first one to neglect on the old contract, renege. So 3 months, won the court case, and then on the Friday, so and then Tim Sheens said, "Well, you're on the bench." So we played the Broncos Friday night. And I said, "Oh man." I've just been drinking wine and stuff. I was happy. No, sweet as I'll be on the bench. So my legs were gone, bro. Came on and the crowd were clapping, and it was just the only way for me to repay them back was service. Did my service as long as possible, and I just did what I could, for that club. And 12 years later, it's like I could have retired there, but things kind of financially, I had to go another path, as you do, for your family, and take another chapter in your book. And the Warriors ended up getting me later on anyway.
Yeah, well, that's right. It all pans out, It works out for everybody.
It's just I just delayed my path,
Exactly, and who's to say that it wouldn't have been something different if you didn't go that path, the career that you would have had. So,
well, I feel I would have gone backwards if I came back. Just going back with my boys, the habits and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought, for me personally, I thought, staying in Canberra, learning off the OGs and learning my craft of the game,
Yeah.
And it was the best decision for myself.
Well, it's worked out, and I think it's just smarter, learning from those that have done it before, and then at the top of their games, where else would you want to be? And you're going to somewhere to start something brand new, and you might not be learning from as many, as the the same quality of players. I'm sure you wouldn't, because those guys that you've in that team were absolute legends, are legends now. So
why not learn off the best stars?
That's what we always try and do, but again, that team, and especially like you say, for 3 months for a young guy, and it's how tough it is, what are you worth? Why do you think you're worth that much?
So it's like, I think I'm more than 5 grand.
Prove it.
But then the agent came in, and he was with me for a long time. Jim Bannigan was his name, and he he was the Lucifer of football managers. They just get in there and just go get whatever for your player, and I didn't have to worry about anything else, and just worry about footy, and probably the best move.
It's like you say, I still have, you still got people that do look after us in certain.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely.
So,
because because what we've done also, yourself, myself, Sonny, everyone is, you need someone to keep it real, and making sure the deals are legit, and getting your time, because man, I wouldn't say no to anybody. It's like to people, hey, sweet assholes, man, all good. But now it's like,
well, exactly, and I think you realise now, I'm exactly the same, and I know that's probably the same with Santan, with Rochelle, my wife. It's Why can't you just, but now you're going to go over there and what about, it's the time now, it's
it
the
is
time that you,
precious time, that we're
precious
trying to
time
give
you're
back.
taking away. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to give back to our Gulus because they've done the hard yards, and while we're doing our yards to provide for our ainga, and it's kind of just the roles are kind of reversed.
Yeah,
and
that's right. They're the
now
priority now.
And it's the grind and focusing on my children, watching them play sport, and just being the parent up in the sort of, and then the four up in the trees hidden. Go son, those guys,
100%. Yeah, our kids don't listen to it. Well, mine don't listen to me anyway, so.
So they just put them on hold or so. No, I just, the kids, they, born in Australia, we made, Santa made, swimming was the outlet for them at a young age to give them some resilience and some purpose. So they swam for like 10 years. And like, what you get out of swimming, that's crazy sport.
Yeah.
The discipline, the resilience, and all the obstacles that come with it, they can take on the world. So we steer them in the right direction there. And as soon as they turn to teenagers, finish swimming. But anything they join, they kind of excel on their own, without being the tag that always sticks around, being the father, the son or the daughter of, Ruben Wiki, and I got to tell them, I'm your dad. That's it. And I can't help with the tag that comes with it, but I'm your dad first and foremost. So it's tough, so tough, and we try to tell them to be their own person. If they, if the people get out of line, just tell them, say, man, this is my dad. Leave him alone. We're having dinner. Those ones.
So you played with so many greats of the game. Which one, kind of for you was the one that stood out for you the most?
Well, we spoke about Mal also. That was my dream to go there and to play with Mal and learn from him. I can tell you personally, honestly, we've become really, really good friends even to this day. We've still got like a good chat group with the boys, and I'm always checking up on Ricky, Laurie, Clyde, and all the boys, and just to always say Merry Christmas and so forth. And it's when you win a grand final, it is special, and to do it with a bunch of legends like the team we had, the connection is, it can't explain to me, but it's, we're still connected to this day. And even Brett Mellons is one of the tightest ones, mate.
Yeah.
But honestly, out of all the players throughout my career, like in Canberra or wherever, Quentin Pongia is the one that sticks out for me. The way he went about his business for his team, and his no-nonsense approach to games. Him and Johnny, like my big brothers there, and they told me this is how we do it. This is how we're gonna plant our seed in the club by following their lead. And I used to hold the pad for those two prior games, so I was half concussed by the time I went on anyway. So I said, the pads here, what are you doing here? Both of them.
I remember Johnny. I played with Johnny.
Hachi, that's what I mean. Also, like the Wainuiomata.
That loose arm, that kind of. That's where you got your tackle technique from, huh?
So, and that's where Johnny got his big calves, because he was on his tiptoes, and like T-Bone and Dave, Lomax, all those boys, because all four boys came over at one stage. But yeah, just training with those boys and prepping with them prior games just got me in the right state of mind, And but in the warm-ups, man, I was clearing my nose and stitches in my eyes. This is from just holding the pads
just
for
the warm-up.
These two. Oh yeah, solid. It's so I was going the game, so I was already ready. But Quentin's got that voice, that croak in his voice, and he's always, growling. And so, man, this guy's in for it. You can see it in the white of his eyes that he was here for business every time, like training, playing. And I just really took so much from those two, but Quentin was the one that stood out for me, man, like through the Raiders and the Kiwis, sadly taken away from us early. But he was my stalwart for me also, like through my career. And, I wanted to make sure that I trained like Quentin trained and played like Quentin used to do, and left it all on the field without any regrets.
Oh, yeah, no, sad loss from such a big man to,
Yeah, it was crazy.
Now, I always wondered, how hard is the transition from the centres to the front row?
I don't know what I was thinking, but then they had a shortage of front rowers. This was on the mid-90s, I think, when Mal was coaching. The front row was getting injured, and it was unlimited interchange back then. And they said, who wants to play front row? I said, pull my hand up and have a whack at it, and it saved me like chasing Ricky Stewart's kicks down there and wide out. So he's just coming tighter, just did the hit-ups, had a little breather. But my first game was against Parramatta, like against McCracken and Jim Dimmick and Dean Payne and all those boys. And come on, Solid, man. I got funged, man. Boom. I said, welcome to the middle, you little shit, Dean Payne and all those boys, hey. But I was on there for 10 minutes, did my job, had a little bit of footwork so I could just sneak in between the front rowers, the forwards there, and try to get quick play of the balls. But I really enjoyed it. It was tough, the transition, but I just kind of really enjoyed the physicality of it, getting in there with guys left and right of you, and it was the same in the backs, but totally when you're in the middle, you can't hide. So if you miss a tackle or you don't tie in, you're going to get found out. So the accountability kind of picked up even more, being in the middle. And so, come on, starts on the wing and ends up in front row. And like, who does that transition, man? But, there was a lot of in the 90s, all those centers back then were huge. Mel was 130 kilo center that could move. You had Graham Bradley for St. George.
Jared McCracken as well. He did
Jared McCracken, Mark McGaw, Adrian Edenhausen, Paul McGregor. All big centers, man. But none of them transitioned like this fella. But I really enjoyed the challenge, and I think the responsibility and accountability was the one for me, and that's why I kind of fell in love with being in the middle and the back row side of things, and because you had to lay the platform for your team, just like in any when in rugby, forward's not going forward, man, you can't go anywhere. So transition was a tough one, but a wake up call, big time.
Oh, I can imagine. Is that when when did the cover start to come in for your recovery? Was it the forward days?
Yeah, also like I think it was about 28. So I was just getting on a bit, and I was like, getting a bit sore. I was like, so I dabbled in the cover earlier in '94 with Noa. So when we,
of course,
Noa Nadruku. So when we won the grand final, the second day we went to a pub, and this big limousine turned up and just had like a Tanoa and cover. So it was from the Fijian embassy in ACT. And it turned up at our pub. It came in, big guy came in, put the bowl down, mixed the cover for us. Noah mixed the cover for us. I was like, ooh. No, it's had heaps of beer in me already by then, but in the cover, I was like, oh man, it started sobering me up a bit. So I started feeling the numbness of my body. It was like, but then like still dabbled in the cover after Galons later on, but 28, I started taking it more serious and did some research on it, on the cover and the positives for recovery, so for your aches and anti-inflammatory, the hydration purpose of it. So, you know, I was only dabbling after games on a Sunday. So, and it worked wonders, man. It was like, so good. And so I never drank during the seasons. I only drank cover. And then, you know, you always have your man Monday and you have a few drinks, but the cover was my saving grace. And I do believe the cover kind of extended my career, that extra 7 years after that. Any injuries, Silly, always on my injuries, and cover was never too far away, you know, just to help me get back on the field. So I was a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to injuries, man. I would just get onto it, ice it, the cover, ice, just do what was right, so to make sure I get back on the field. So any time I had missed many games was through suspensions or a couple of broken arms, but that was it. Kind of looked after my injuries, didn't have any knee injuries or shoulders, but yeah, I was real strong on those, and big advocate of like looking after yourself with the injury side of things are.
Well, it's a testimony to your longevity. You know, obviously the carver plays a part, and I'm a bit like that now. And you know, I can't take it in terms of the, you know, with as the drink. It takes too long. I need it straight away. So you know.
Yeah, well, they got bottle stuff now, so
yeah,
they got bottle stuff down in Auckland.
But you know, that understanding that our bodies are our tools of our trade, so you've got to look after it, and you've got to, you know, educate yourself about how you do that, you know. And I know this is, you know, you've made a career out of it now, but yeah, that's so important, I think, for all our, you know, young players, and understanding
absolutely
what works for you, you know, and how can you keep yourself out there, and even more so now with concussion, and you know, like, understand the symptoms, understand the risks, and you know what we do, because it's a big player at the moment.
So when did you retire, Silly?
I retired and I came back. So, you know, I finished in 2011, same as you. So I was very much looked after injuries. So I was, you know, had a good run in terms of that, looked after the body, made, you know, the stretching and things like that. You know, I understand, you know, with what works, and you know, like yourself, research. Someone's doing this, I'm gonna have a look at that. What does that do? But you still can get into it, you know, like, you know, with what we're doing now in terms of supplementing, you know, after hard trainings, because, you know, you've got to replace what you're using, because you're not working out like normal people are.
Absolutely.
And the intensity that you have to work out. So you've got to make sure that you're putting something back in the body and looking after it, so it can go, not just play the game, but also train for the game the next day.
Absolutely.
At our age, sometimes that was the hardest, man. I'll play for free, but it's these trainings that's killing me, man.
So when they call you up for masters, they say, "Oh, mate, I still got to do my 20-minute stretch, but you know, 20-minute warm up."
Oh, that's it.
You know, I'll still play masters, also like footy.
Yeah,
you know, I was playing like, bro. Also, like last year in July the 4th, I'll never forget. You know, so that one is just daunting. I played test footy, played like in all different countries, met the Queen. So like I played like masters against Manurewa, and I stunned my Achilles, and I was like, oh, mate. So just honestly, my name was mud for a long time due to snapping my Achilles playing masters, and I was like, far out. I was a bit depressed actually, because you know, because of the injury, it was so daunting, and never thought this would happen to me, because my fast twitch muscles are not that fast. You know, so but I just feel I didn't do my warm up that I usually do. It was cut half and half because I was running late. And Francis Leotos also would be, you know, 2 tries behind us. Far out. Give me the ball then. And it was 80 meters. tries that I had to like get for the team, and I was like, man. And I felt it after my second try, and it's like, oh, this is a bit tight. My calf's getting a bit tight, but they didn't sub me off.
Yeah.
I said, oh, no, Rubes, you stay on. Your black shorts. Because there were heaps of red and gold shorts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Then we had a scrum move. This guy thought he was Reece Walsh, but it was the wrong RW. Also, it's like, oh, mate, I thought I was fullback. Did the big arc, stepped the winger, kept running, and I thought he caught me. Just heard it. It's like, boom, it was like a shotgun. I was like, he ankle tapped me. And then as I was going down, so I tore my left hammy. So I tore my left hammy and then my right Achilles. I was like, oh, mate. I got up and I said, what happened? I said, I can't feel my leg. It was like, well, that's weird. So, yeah. They tried to carry me off. No, they carry me off. This is Masters. I was a rip off. So, then,
2 legs.
2 legs was one. Left hammy's torn. And then the other one snapped the Achilles. I said, guess.
Oh.
So, that was the process getting back for that. So I managed to get back in 7 months. It's a 12-month recovery, but I managed to get back in 7 to do a CrossFit comp. Tick that box, and still building the calf up. I'm still about 4 months away, but I'm able to run and jump and everything like that. So, the rehab came in straight away. I was on it every day, man.
Awesome.
Used the upper body weights for a long time.
Oh no, you can't tell us.
Oh no, I just got that widescreen panorama.
Bro, look up. I know your pain. That was the injury that finished me.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, you've had it?
Yeah. I did my left one. Same thing. I've I had a tight calf when I was playing for the Chiefs. That was it that finished me, And I'd always, as you do, you kind of have Achilles injuries. It's just a long load, eh? It's just a loading thing. So, and then we were playing here at Eden Park, Chiefs versus the Blues, and then I came off at halftime and I said to the coach, hey, I think my calf's tightening up and it's a bit of pain, and we'll monitor you. Just go back out there. We'll monitor you. And then same thing. I didn't have to be. I just took the ball up.
Yeah.
And got tackled, and I just went to the ground. And then when I went to get up, my ankle, it was floppy. I was thinking, something's wrong with this. Yeah. And then they came on and they checked it, and I could see in his face he knew straight away. The doctor knew straight away what it was, and he didn't want to tell me. I said, "Oh no, you just better come off." And then he got me to the side, and then he did the same test, and he says, "Yeah, Tana, you've ruptured your Achilles." I was going, and you knew I'd already, you'd already heard the guys that had it. Oh, that's 12 months, 9, For me, that's me done, man. Yeah, that's my body telling me that's time to hang up the boots.
Did you have the op also? Did you just let
no, I had the op. No, I had the op. That was in 2011. I did that, and so I had the op, but I didn't do the rehab. So that's why I've got one skinny calf and one bigger calf. I always tell people, look at my calves. This is what happens if you don't do the rehab.
Mate. You got that gangster lean for real.
Yeah, for sure. But at that stage, I started doing it, and then I thought, I'm not coming back to play. So I'm just going to rest now. I'll just put the body to rest.
I was like, just due to the start of my career to like when I finished, I got to keep on doing the rehab, the recovery, just to get back and doing some kind of exercise, for me. And if I'm not doing any exercise, I'm losing my cool. So the first 3 months it was tough because I couldn't use my leg, upper body stuff, and then the cast came off and I got a moon boost, so I started doing some burpees. So just keep my mind fresh and the well-being side of things for me.
100%.
So I can focus, so I can put that energy to the members and help around the house when I couldn't for ages.
But again, it goes to show the habits are, you develop over time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You'd finish playing, but the habit of looking after yourself, that mindset of, oh, look, I've got to look after the body, because again, the same thing, I've still got to walk around. I've still, and again, what you do for your business, you still want to be able to participate, and what you do for leisure too. I still want to be able to be active.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's the bread and butter. It's not those big contracts that we get no more. So we have to grind. And like for me, to get injured, I'm letting my wife down, myself down, and my work. Like we, invested in the gym. It's 3 years now, and I love that gym. I want to keep it afloat, and all the constraints that come with it through COVID. We fought for those, and it's still standing. We lots of subsidies, came into play to help pay the bills, and our landlord was really, really awesome. He helped us out, and gave us a few months to get free rent, and then we paid it back later on. But it was a tough one when you got your own businesses, and we had to dig deep. And so I'm working part-time with my mate 3 days a week in a warehouse, just old school, go back to stacking pallets, and blessed to get that opportunity to go and work there and help pay the bills, and then go to the gym. And just it's what you got to do,
100%. No, you got to do what you got to do. And I suppose, transitioning that too, like when you were coming through, like you say, we all have, when we're in it, when did you start thinking about life after? What am I going to do next? You talked about, investing and properties and things like that.
And education. So, through the years with all this money, with the contract stuff, we did invest really well with properties. So we had a property that was like, when we were in Canberra, we still have one now, which is in Queen Street. So we sold one, and we still got one that's still active. So it's still bringing some little bit of income, and that's like 20 plus years on. That this property is still going. We've had a few properties in Canberra, and making sure we get some good financial advice in regards to the money side of things, and it's paid off. It's helped us get this beautiful house we have now. We always have the mortgage. The in-laws live with us. I think probably 2006, when I retired, Kiwis also kind of, I had to start looking at Plan B. And I think, when I retired from the Kiwis, there was the time to, pick up my skill factor, education-wise. I left school when I was 15, so it's time to go back to school. So I invested in some courses, strength and conditioning. I kind of like that avenue there. So, and that kind of tied into, after I finished footy, I'd been a trainer for the Warriors. So the transition from retiring in 2008 with the Warriors, it was an easy transition, because I had some papers under my belt, so that definitely helped. And like, for future players or NRL players, rugby players, or whatever, make sure you got a plan B, because it will sneak up and just bite you when you least expect it. The average age in the NRL player is only 2 years. So I'm not sure what the average age, like average playing career in rugby is, but
I think it's
2 years.
Yeah,
it's 2 years in 2 years in rugby league. So be blessed to play this long. So we had to make sure we had a plan B, and we love the group training side of things, and Santa and I dabble in that, just with a few friends, and it kind of escalated from there. And the learning process just kept continuing. And I went back to school this year with my daughter, did a diploma in like sports rec. Awesome. So I was in the same class as my daughter, man. So crack on. Hold hands, get there, and then Nick Minna, bolted. Hang out with her mates. I'm at the back with my classes, oldest in the class, older than the shooters. Santa was doing the degree. So we're all at school, and we managed to tick that box, my daughter and I.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, it was so good, and education is really important, and I think to do with my daughter, it was a special moment, and was Santa that pushed us to that because she was doing a degree, you know. So she did a diploma, now she's doing a degree, but that was put on hold due to her mum. So she's got a few more papers to do, but hopefully we cross the stage in May. So let's tick that box, you know. So, and I took some of my coaches back with me too. Yeah. At the gym, because just to upskill them, and it was really cool, you know, because we were more mature, and you know, been there, done that, and like these kids were turning up. They're like half an hour late. I said, sir, shut the door. They're late. Make them do burpees outside. So we tried it for one class. Yeah. You come late, you have to do burpees outside. I said, yes. So they were like, yeah, because you know, they're taking their time to teach you, and you're going to be half an hour late, and then you get on your phone and look at YouTube or TikTok and stuff. I was getting eco, bro. I
can imagine.
I said, mate, turn the phone off and take some notes. And then when we get to doing our assignments, they, you know, text me, oh, Sully, what was the last class? I said, I'm not telling you, man. I got my own battles. Yeah, I'm still there. Oh, geez, like, got to do bloody assignments. It's been a long time since, you know, between breaks with that one.
Oh, bro, respect, man. I got utmost respect for you going back to class and to school, you know, and yeah, and that's that you're teaching those lessons again, like you know, time management, you know, to those young, just like you know. And I'm sure, like, you know, we did skip over too, I suppose, you know, the time at the Warriors, you know, when you came there, you were the elder statesman there too. And I'm sure, you know, the club's been through its trials and tribulations, and you know, and but I'm sure that would have been a big learning curve for you too, because again, you know, when you talk about leadership, you know, I know that was chucked upon you as well. So how was that? How do you see leadership in your time at the Warriors?
Yeah, so when they did kind of eventuate signing to go to the Warriors, and it was a tough decision, and because I had Wigan knocking on the door at the same time, so I had the two Warriors coming for me, and it was like, which one's going to be the best opportunity for the future of the children? And you know, the kids wanted to travel. You know, they wanted to go see the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that. Disneyland as well. And then I had to look at the bigger picture when they end up growing up. You know, they're only like 6 and 4. So when they came over back to New Zealand, they could grow up with their cousins and learn that other side of the culture that they missed out on, you know. And but the transition, being the elder statesman, going back to the Warriors, you know, Steve Price went, you know, signed up as well, Nathan Fiend. So we had 2 different types of leadership, Pricey and myself. He was more eagle, I'm more a dove eagle, you know. We put in the lamest terms with the birds. But yeah, I think it was my duty to make sure that the Polynesian boys knew how to take positive criticism, because you had a few Aussies in the team, like Nathan Fiend, Todd Burns, Steve Price, Michael Luck, Michael Witt, you know, Grant Ravelli. So these guys have grown up in the Australian system, and the only way they know is to win. And to win, you have to ask for your best, even if it's going to hurt you, you know? Yeah. So it was kind of took me back to where I started also, and I was going, oh yeah. And these boys wanted to like punch the captain out and stuff, you know. I said, hey, don't take it personal, just take what you need and then use that and put that into the game. So I had to control all the Hollies, Hamilawake, Ravave, you know, all the boys, you know. Yeah. Oh mate. So yeah, it was a battle, but started getting a bit of a following with the Polynesian boys. You know, money was just starting off. All these young Polynesian boys in the middle, and it did pay dividends. You know, just passing on my knowledge on and making sure they steered in the right direction, getting their balance right. You know, talking about Plan B. And it was a successful move for myself. It took a couple of years to get that connection with the boys, and I think come 2008 we had a good little thing going on, you know, and everyone started going in the same direction. It's a hard one to get that magic, you know.
Yeah.
I know you've been in teams where everything just clicks. So with Canberra, it clicked, you know, in '94. We lost one game or 2 games that whole year, but everyone knew their job, you know. Everyone knew what they had to do. So just trying to get that on a regular basis at the Warriors was a hard task, you know, because they're back home with their mates, away from the footy field and from training. So, you know, habits come in, and it's trying to teach them to choose their own path, and, you know, sometimes say no and don't go out. Maybe just sacrifice for the team and see what you want to get out of the game, you know.
Yeah.
But it took a while also because, you know, they're only young, so they had to mature. 3 years it took to kind of register for the boys and to take on the knowledge that we're trying to pass on.
And it's hard too, you know, like also as our, you know, I don't know, this is what I've come across. You can give the advice.
Yeah.
It's whether, you know, as you said, it's whether they take it on, and it's,
absolutely,
you know, it's not until they actually make the mistakes that you warn them about, that they realize, I see what you mean now.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But they have to go through it, like they want to go through it.
And like, I think when they hit the war, you know, a lot of them went through depression. Like a lot of us have moments we go through depression. So how do you get out of that? You have to speak out. You have to ask for help. That's the only way. If you keep burying it, it's just going to compile on each other and make it worse. And then negative thoughts come into your head and you do something silly, you know?
Yeah.
So
and, and you know, you're right. It's hard in the city we're in too, you know, the amount of, you know, for the Warriors, the pressures from the external pressure that they live with.
You know, the fans, you know, from the club, because they want to win to make them succeed. So there's a lot of pressures, and, you know, like rugby league, any sport, it's a business, and like when you're playing at that top tier, man, you have to perform, or else, you know, they'll just bring someone else in, another employer. So that's, you know, we talk about loyalty. Loyalty it's there, you know, for your mates and stuff, but they're a business. You know, they need to get results.
Yeah.
And you're just the employer, just packing those shelves, also, you know. So and you're bringing the people in, bringing the people into the crowd. So that's stacking the shelves that I'm talking about. And you have to do it to the best of your ability. So, and as I said, you wish you could play forever, but you can't. So, and to try and just pass on the knowledge of always have a plan B, have a plan B, be outspoken, don't die with it stuck inside you internally, you know. It just makes it worse.
Oh, exactly. And, you know, you talk about that mental well-being. How have you been able to cope with that, you know, as you've said, because you're right, and that's, again, being male and Pacific Island Māori, you know, those two things.
It's a no-no.
It doesn't help,
it's a no-no. Yeah, it's a no-no. But, you know, I have a close-knit circle. You know, my best mate is Logan Swan. You know, Wax, Winston Sewer. You know, we've got a nice little chat group, and we're always checking in on each other. I have my Silverbacks, which is the old OGs from Ōtāhuhu, that always play every Sunday and catch up and play, or they try and play touch and tackle and stuff like that, and end up mocking each other for like 3 hours after. So, you know, having those groups help. I have WorKZ men's group. So all our members at the gym, all our men, we're on a messenger. So anyone's going through any tough time, we try to catch up once a month, go to like Indian or cover session, and just talk about random stuff, man, and getting it off your chest. And it gets emotional, man. It's like people going through losing jobs, marriage, suicidal, asking for help, because they got no work. So, and we, with that chat group, everyone is helping each other, and that keeps me happy, and keeps me grounded, and that we got those groups, because you need those groups, and I got my Raiders groups and the boys, I got my Canberra boys, and we always check up on each other. But I think it's the most important step for these warriors at the moment is more being more outspoken, and asking for help, and some advice, especially from like some OGs that have been there, done that, on your rugby circles or the league circle, whatever circle, just give them some tips to pass on,
Yeah. Oh no, hey, look, again, it's awesome in terms of giving them those platforms and opportunities. That's all they're looking for. Having like-minded people you say, it's funny, as we do with our barbars, it starts off as a sports team and we're all playing touch.
So it was
fun, and boys getting together, and then it's become a group, a support
catch up.
Yeah, it's a support catch up now. Make sure looking in on each other, because it's real.
You need it.
Our generation, we're losing too many good men too early. So it's just understanding that, you give them somewhere where they can have that opportunity to,
absolutely,
to speak out. And it's tough. Look, I find myself, not wanting to burden other people with my issue, my problems, and it's just not used to asking for things. I work it out. I'll figure it out.
It just compels, it just compels,
exactly.
It adds up, and like for Santa, she's taught me how to open up a lot more, and I was that guy, grown up, mum, three kids, no father figure, and the battle she went through and I witnessed that stuff. That's something you would not wish on anybody, and it's like I bottled that stuff up for a long time, and then I became white ribbon ambassador to speak out about that stuff. And that was the toughest conversation I had to have with my mum, to say, I want to tell your story, Mum, and how you survived that, and what I saw, and what kind of made me want to, kill these guys, but I had to find another vice to control my aggression, and she took me to rugby league, man, and that's every time I'm on the field, I'm representing my mum and her struggles, and my siblings and what they went through. And like for Santa, we're talking about our wives. For her, she's, they've been a rock, and they'll tell you straight, and she ran it straight at me and told me, you got to open up and get it out. So white ribbon ambassador was the one to speak out and tell my story all around the country too, and it was pretty surreal, but it helped take that load off us big time, and then I could move on and help others. But man, that was tough.
Oh no, geez, again, it's awesome, and like again, leading in that space helps others follow, because of the respect you have for, and hold, amongst all people, from what you achieved, and that persona, always everyone expects that persona, and sometimes you get caught up in that. Oh, he's the hard man. Man,
that's what I mean. It was just, exactly. Don't want that tag. That's like they put us up there as like superheroes, and the stats to make us. I don't know what it is, but it's just a stat for me, and you'll be the same too. But deep down, I'm just that South Auckland boy, just on the grind, and just trying to do what I can for my family and for my mates, and just making sure they're, they have a good life.
Yeah, and we want to be around for our kids, We want
to So, reckon, bro. I'm sure there's grandchildren on the way somewhere, but I don't want it yet. Not really. Because I'm still.
As long as it's just us thinking about the man, not them.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry. No worries on this side. It's all safe. Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome stuff, also. And I've just got probably a couple more just around your business and So, how was it? Like, we talked a little bit about that with COVID. I know that must have added to, that mental angst, and dealing with that. And, how were some of the skills that you've learnt, through your footy, that you've brought into your business life now? And obviously, you've talked about how you handle that mental side of it. Must be tough. And again, we do what we have to do. We don't. Our kids can't eat pride, so it's no use saying, "Oh no, I don't do that kind of job."
Yeah, exactly.
Again, once again, you've proven it. So now I need to go work if that means to go pick up rubbish or whatever. That's what I'll do.
But that's and I think when our business was hit by the COVID, sort of we adapted. We learned to adapt with the mandates and the MOH rules. So when we did close, we ended up giving our people some equipment, and then we ended up going Zoom. So Zoom in the morning, Zoom in the evenings, and making sure their well-being space, like through exercise, was looked after. So we had morning classes and the evening classes, and all our coaches jumped on board the Zoom and just kept it alive, And when the mandates changed, we decided to do the training outside the gym because we couldn't train inside the gym. So I bought some mats. We put the mats outside so they can still do the workouts, bring the equipment out, and we were like in the back of the gym in the car park area, just doing the workouts. So we just had to adapt, and then the vaccination passes come in. You had to be vaxxed. So we had a few anti-vax, so they couldn't come back to the gym. And we said, no, we're sorry, we're sticking by the mandate because it's part of New Zealand Exercise's curriculum and for us to function. So we had to put the mandates and, the QR codes and the mask. But everyone bought into it. We only probably lost about 5 or 10 members. But, we wish them, hopefully, they'll come back to us, and they probably will in the next couple of weeks. But we had to stay strong also and protect our gym and make sure that COVID didn't come in. But we set the rules up on our page, set the rules up on our influx to make sure they stick to the guidelines. So any symptoms, stay away from the gym. Just think of the others. We were pretty OCD in the gym, so sanitizing everything, mopping up, sweeping up, mopping up, making sure everything's wiped down, making sure you treat this gym like your house. So it's one thing that Sandra's passed on to me is the OCD. Oh, sorry, you can eat off our floor. There's a show so fly, the floor is so shiny, man. It's crazy. You go like that. I was like, oh, passed. But we adapted the situation at different times of the COVIDs to make sure our business stays alive. And we took a hit. We took a hit big time with the money coming through. So we had to ask for help with subsidy and so forth. And when I talked about going back to WORKZ, it was trouble times, and I had to go back and ask for help from a mate that I went to school with, who's one of the members, and met with a boss and gave me 3 days a week. And Santa was doing the other 2 days, so we were sharing the role and just bringing some extra income in to help pay the bills. And, we come from that cloth that's, you got to do the hard work. Doesn't worry us, I don't care what it is, man. I'll, be stacking shelves, go pack and say whatever helps to pay the bills, And, because all the other money's invested in other stuff, so we can't go and rely on that stuff. We have to do the grind, get our hands dirty, do what we need to do, and making sure the rent's paid, the mortgage, everything. So just ticking all those boxes and finding a way to marry all that together to make sure everything's ticked off. And some weeks are really bad, also it's real bad. And then some days are really good. So just when you think it's getting really shit, we get a blessing from somewhere. And it's just, like I'm doing the rugby team, I'm doing Warriors Foundation stuff, just trying to bring some more avenue in, without breaking my back. But and still trying to pay it forward through like the foundation and being the spokesman, going to schools and teaching the kids about what it takes to be a professional athlete. And it all connects to the well-being side of things too, which is a big one for me. And so just got to dabble in everything else to just pay those bills, bro.
And what does the future hold for you? What does the future look like? For you, if you look down the track, obviously you're in the middle of the grind. Like again, I've been getting into businesses. You've probably heard. Working,
supplements.
At the moment, you're working in it all the time. But we really want to be is just you want to work on it. So you've got it's running itself, and it's doing. Is that where you want to be? But it's going to take a while.
I think it's going to take a while. We're 3 years into it. And I think we've probably got a few more in us, and then I think we'll probably look at something else. It takes a lot out running a gym. Our gym's not like your normal gym. We're more than a gym. The well-being space is a huge advocate for us. We make sure other outside groups that want to come in, we tell them the story about us and how this was created and what we try and achieve in here. One of our mantras is no one gets left behind, and you won't get this stuff at F45, bro. It's like this is genuine. Our gym, WikiWorks Fitness, is our gym, and it's our rules, and this is our ethos, and everyone feeds off that, and it's more than just a gym, and it's a family, and they can trust us, not just being the trainer, but they can trust and confide in us, so that's going beyond what a normal gym would do. It's not just about
not just physical health.
It's the mental side too, and the
holistic,
and the emotions, and and where our gym's average age is around 35, so it's an older gym. And there's no mirrors, there's no shirts off. It's a no in our gym. You take your shirt off, get out of here, man. You're the wrong gym, man. No, but they're very, very mature audience, and they love it, and they need it. They need it for their well-being space, and just to work out, and they know that the coaches are on the same level. It's so important.
And it's a it's a well needed service in terms of that that industry and that space in there right now.
Absolutely. So and where we're situated also, we're right in the heart of Ōtāhuhu. Beats Road, it's very busy. There's helicopters, there's gangs, there's bikes, mate, there's everything, man. There's guys graffitiing on all the walls, but not our wall. Our wall's untouched. It's like it's like from Beach Street, Ramon, the white trains. That's what our back looks like. So that's a respect factor, So they know the OGs come back to Ōtāhuhu to give back.
Exactly. They know that you're giving back. You're doing a service to the people, for the people.
Absolutely. And we government fundings come into the picture with youth programs. So we have youth programs that we have started at the gym for year 9 to year 13 kids for after school. Awesome. So that's been funded from the government, and that's like 7 blocks throughout the year, and they love it. They love it. They come in. I take on Mondays. My daughter takes Wednesdays, and it's a good mixture. And we're trying to teach them standards and time management, being on time. Make sure you bring a drink. Make sure you bring a towel. make sure you bring your mask. And, you know, there's consequences if you don't. Well, there's consequences also.
That's life, huh?
Yeah, they'll learn like a little something they picked up from WorKZ is, you know, there's standards, and they can pass that on throughout their journeys and whatever journey they take, you know, whether it be sports or business or whatever. But turning up on time is the number one priority.
Oh, that's awesome, you know, and I think, you know, at that age too, you know, that young age, creating those habits. Again, you know, we go back, you know, what you've done, you're just passing those on, creating those habits for others, because, you know, it'll lead them in good stead as they move forward in life.
It's not rocket science stuff also, you know, it's just your values you've instilled from your parents and just adding on to that, you know, and like they put us on that pedestal, but I don't like it. I'm just me, man. So they can have any, you know, can chat to like anyone on the streets and just chew the fat, and they just want to just want some time, you know.
Yeah. Sole, hey, I'm just taking so much of your time, and
all good also. It's been a good time, good catch up.
100%, and just again, I've said it before, but utmost respect for what you're doing for our people, and you know, and especially in the areas that you work in, you know, and leading from the front, you know, you don't talk about it, you be about it, you know, you know, it's tough times for everyone, and you don't rely on, you know, other things. You just get out there. Well, if I have to work, I work. If I, you know, I'm here to help, and that speaking out too. I know. You know, we can all be better in that space.
No wait for a few inus,
100%. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so hey, appreciate it. I appreciate your time as always. Alofa to you and the family.
Yeah, also.
Yeah. So